So I left off on ethnography. Again, these videos let's say 15 minutes and move on to the next one. So ethnography is actually the work that we produce when we finish our field work and we write our story. So an ethnographic novel would be kind of in the vein of autoethnography, and which would be like more focused on the actual anthropologist going through and the stages of that individual's development through the process of anthropology. So autoethnography is one subsector of ethnography. So if I'm going out and I'm studying people, I am doing anthropology fieldwork, but I'm also doing ethnography, and I'm gathering ethnographic data. So the way that we use the terms is kind of almost, you can substitute them at times, but sometimes ethnography becomes what we produce. So if you wanted to find books about anthropologists doing real anthropology work, you could type in cultural anthropology. Most of the time, the research is gonna give us like introductory to cultural anthropology books. If you type in ethnographies, that's when you're going to get actual anthropologists field work. So very key point here, ethnography. Knowing the difference between ethnography and other works in terms of other subfields or fields of study is key. Anthropologists, cultural anthropologists produce ethnographies when they're kind of done with research. A couple things real quick. Participant observation and ethnography, sociologists are starting to use these two field methods, and a lot of it has to do with their methods kind of being dated in a way. Anthropologists are going to start using these in again, Boaz's times in the 1920s, and Malinowski kind of starts going in the 20s up through the 50s, and now it's become the permanent way to do field work. Sociology is going to do more and more of this. To be more relevant and to add in, the sociology used to be theoretical, but then when you became a sociologist, it tended to be all about demographics and demography and numbers and quantitative data. Sociology started to become much more of a field that is embracing the qualitative. It's fascinating how they've come around kind of just moving into the 2020s, and this is becoming more of their reality, whereas it's been anthropology's reality since kind of the birth of American anthropology. Speaking about American anthropology, it's a good segue into plugging the American Anthropological Association, or the AAA. If you guys are diehard anthropology students, I know a couple of you guys are majoring in anthropology, you can reach out to me. The AAA meeting, joining is very expensive, but I think there's student discounts. But the meeting is November, and it's about the middle of November, the annual meeting. So nationally, international anthropologists will show up to this meeting and give presentations. And it's in San Jose, California. So most of us, this is kind of maybe a 4 or 5 hour drive or a flight or whatever that looks like, but it's in the state this year. It's not always. A lot of times it's in DC or another big city in the country. But it's in San Jose. In fact, I'll be chairing and presenting at the conference on Thursday, I think it's the 15th of November. So if you guys are interested in that, join up. The American Anthropological Association produces some good stuff. Like the American Anthropologist is basically a compilation of people's work, journal articles, and articles for the American Anthropologist, and you can kind of add that on to your membership and whatnot. The other thing that I should probably plug, I don't know if people are going to watch this soon enough, I'm not going to do any announcements, is that actually on Saturday, Go Native Day is in Central Park in Tehachapi, and it starts at 10 a.m. and goes kind of throughout the day. And we're going to be doing some fascinating things with the Kwaisu and kind of the native traditions of scent mapping and how to do things and what they ate and stuff like that. So super cool opportunity. terms of subjective, so one key factor is if we're doing qualitative data in anthropology, one big thing that we need to realize is, what does subjective mean? And subjective, you usually get, if I ask you all a question, what does subjective mean? A lot of people would say my opinion, right? And really, what it is that it's kind of everything that we are as individuals. An individual has inherent bias because we're raised a certain way with our family, or we're impacted by American culture, we're impacted by California, we're impacted by Hollywood, we're impacted by our parents, our church, our baseball team, whatever that looks like. All of those things form into us, to ourselves and individuals. And out of that comes kind of this protection of self or bias structure. And what it means is every time we speak or we interact, we are interacting with that structure of place, which ultimately makes us subjective. And again, that subjective opinion or not objective fact, because it's always running through everything that that we're exposed to is running through our own personal bias structure, which is subjective itself. Now, how do we use it? We use it all the time. Sometimes it's for giving our opinion. Sometimes it's to protect ourselves. Sometimes it's analyzing things. Why is it useful? It really is what our identity kind of is to other people. Other people view our subjective opinions as maybe who we are. And what's fascinating is they try to do that in an objective way, even though they're subjective. And we're going to get into what subjective, and that interaction looks like. Very can we base factual knowledge off the subjective? So again, here's the tough part, right? Like we could observe something happening in nature, like gravity, like something falling. What's fascinating is throwing 4 people into a room or watching a specific event, like a car accident. Those 4 people, the majority of the time, are going to give different accounts of what happened. And again, that's because even the event and the interpretation and analysis is running through our subjective feeling. So in terms of factual knowledge, yeah, it's possible to kind of regurgitate maybe at this time of day this happened, but what actually happened may be more interpreted. So there's some tough things here with the word factual. How do bias and subjective relate? Again, we are all biased. This is who we are. It's part of the deal. And to think that we are all objective beings, like telling the truth and factual, is a total fallacy. So objective, again, is the attempt of science to be empirical, objective, be able to recreate experiments, structures, data, results, all of those things, right? Does objective mean true or real? It's at least the way that we're brought up in the Western tradition, objective does mean true and real. However, again, let's say in anthropology, the anthropologist goes out and studies a group of people in the Amazon and Peru. All of those individuals in the Amazon and Peru that are forming this culture, they're all subjective individuals too. And then as an anthropologist, we're subjective. Now, again, the early attempt in anthropology was to make some objective observations. And objective observations could be they ate breakfast at 8:05 a.m. And they actually ate breakfast at 8:05 a.m. every day, plus or minus 2 minutes. We're getting into objective details, but really, does that objective detail really matter? In terms of an anthropological overarching idea, not really. I mean, that is minutia. You can document those things. But in terms of the real data, you want to know how people feel, interact, and behave, and how they do culture, how they do their culture, really, is what we're going for. But again, they're subjective, you're subjective. This becomes a kind of a tough place to do in terms of creating objective factual data out of studying people. So the answer is no, we really can't be objective in anthropology. If we got into, especially cultural anthropology, if we get into physical anthropology, we can start to move more towards that empirical, scientific side of things. However, again, I would kind of argue that the human and that bias structure is always coming into the data and the results and even our questions that we ask. But if you wanted to measure calorie content of certain food stuffs from the culture in the Amazon, we could do that and we can get some objective data. I just don't know in terms of your original hypothesis, are we going to get objective facts out of it? So what we come to, and Michael Jackson knows, not the guy who wrote Thriller, Michael Jackson is also an anthropologist who did studies in Australia, and I believe New Zealand. He gives us kind of this new way of looking at it. And really it is the idea of intersubjective or intersubjectivity, which is the ability to understand others' perspectives through subjective dialogue. So ultimately it's kind of what Gertz was talking about with quick description and stuff in that way as well. Which is if I have a member of a culture group that I'm studying and I have my own subjective bias, if I keep asking them questions and we keep interacting and trading these symbolic goods, which is knowledge, and we have this dialogue that is going on, this conversation, we can start to catalog or start to document how individuals feel. Now, let's say that I do this with one individual and the story comes out that a creation story, that's very sacred to them. And this individual tells me kind of a lot of details. And I find fascinating because these details end up being kind of how people organize their daily life. And so it's kind of this ritual down perspective of habitual behavior. Now, that may be one individual's kind of belief structure around what that individual interprets their culture doing. Until I start to ask other individuals of that culture similar questions and try to get at that feeling, again, you're most likely never going to get a group of even 15 people to agree on exactly how those things fit into their life, right? And I have perfect examples of that in growing up in my family, right? We just kind of this last summer had long conversations about our parents and kind of who was who and who fit what role, and I realized that two of the siblings don't necessarily feel the same way that me and my sister do. So it's a fascinating thing, and sometimes those things change over time. When you have this perspective when you're 18, it changes when you're 25, it changes when you're 35, and then when you're 40, they totally flip on their head. Again, this is all subjective, and all of the memories that we even have inside our heads, when we recall them, we naturally change the memories. So our subjective being and our bias is constantly working. However, Michael Jackson's kind of proposal to work towards this intersubjective dialogue is kind of where we can get the best information, right? The use of conversation to learn and just beliefs based on logic and reason. Logic and reason are kind of interesting terms, but they work. And again, this goes back to the idea of Hegel's dialectic, right? One individual tells a story, another individual might disagree with the story or tell their own story, which would be the antithesis. But then you're going to get some synthesis around that, at least you're supposed to, and this is kind of the issue with American politics, is that we don't have a synthesis of ideas. We just have somebody with an idea, and then we have no idea, no. And this is happening on both sides of the aisle, which is not necessarily a healthy democratic process. But again, the synthesis of ideas of, oh, so you guys operate on this kind of ritualistic standpoint, and then they might find out that actually you operate on this ritualistic standpoint. It might not be related to a sacred site, but it might be related to the idea that to you in America, going to work is a ritual, and you find it pretty sacred. You don't really want people to mess it up on your drive there, and you've got to listen to a certain radio station, and so a lot of those things become ritualistic as well. And working together to find those things out and talking about them is this intersubjective idea.